Hello there, Common from here. When it comes to Pokemon games, the first thing usually mentioned is graphics, and it is why we dedicated a separate video on it. While the graphics of Legends Arceus are somewhat underwhelming, the gameplay is a massive overhaul, upgrade, Pokemon terms, a proper evolution of the entire series. And despite my displeasure for the landscape textures, the gameplay is the reason why we believe in Pokemon Legends Arceus. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. But why is the gameplay here such a big game changer? Well, in its base principles, it is clear that Pokemon Legends Arceus doesn't simply follow one gameplay format. The closest it comes to is modern Monster Hunter, but even that isn't completely apt. The mission structure, which is how you make story progression and find your own fun, learns the most from this format. You choose a mission to go through with a set objective, you overcome the struggles and challenges along the way, and progress the bits that were set up previously. The missions are seemingly quite different, with objectives being met at every step. One thing is clear, you always have an objective somewhere in the back of your mind. With this in mind, we can feel that certain people will be disappointed with how Pokemon Legends Arceus is structured. This isn't the seamless open world adventure that they wanted, not a direction they wanted Game Freak to take the series in. But then again, we have Breath of the Wild's sequel for that purpose this year, and we already have other Zelda gameplay clones, Immortals, and more of these on the way, like Genshin Impact on the Nintendo Switch. While the fully open world, non-linear, choose-your-own-adventure standpoint is understandable, it is important to focus on what is actually in the game. After all, you can't have it both ways. That being said, Hisui does have a lot going for it, with different areas and times of day impacting how you will encounter Pokemon in a province set in Japan's own industrialization journey during the rule of Emperor Meiji. The main objective in Legends Arceus is to catch monsters multiple times and to research them for the universe's first Pokédex. By repeatedly catching a monster, you will learn more about its ways and how additional species can be captured. And to see everything that the game has to offer, it is crucial that you partake in dedicated Pokemon hunts, making it worth staying longer in specific areas. In that sense, there's absolutely a free roaming aspect with full dual analog camera control to it, as the locations and behavior of the monsters change. Yes, you can zoom through the game and be done with it, but Pokemon Legends Arceus is focused on finding every crumb of possible information. Particularly players who love the catch-em-all aspect will find a ton to love here. As mentioned, missions and overworld camps attached to these help to expand the longevity of the game's areas and give them purpose. Sometimes you'll be asked to hunt for a specific Pokemon, while other moments see you struggling for a certain amount. Even if it isn't a hard-written rule, the game wants to keep pushing the player to do things in the world. Maybe that is a more important aspect when compared to figuring out how big the world is. And it isn't like Pokemon Legends Arceus built up the game like this first. Capcom's Monster Hunter Stories 2 didn't have massive areas, but you always felt like you were participating. So Pokemon might be going in a similar direction here. In addition to the things you can do, there are items and resources that you can collect, which will be helpful for craftable items as well as catching Pokemon. And my goodness, are craftable items and resources important and a very interactive experience, since you often collect them by using your Pokemon's abilities. Crafting is how you make additional Pokeballs and so many other key tools in the game. Now you can buy them as well, but getting them like this is an interesting wrinkle. There's a dedicated shop for additional recipes and things you can craft, but we really don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes. At minimum, we know that you can make multiple ball types with apricots, as heavy balls are in fact a pre-order bonus. Despite the scope of the world, it will remain pretty sizable and connected. The latest gameplay preview gave a better look at how you can traverse the world later in the game. Video travels a great distance on foot, while Hisuian Bravery lets you soar higher and further. Last but not least, there's Busker Legion. This mighty beast lets you explore the rivers and seas to your heart's content for their one special Pokemon. It gives us confidence that we haven't seen the full context of the world, or even ways to traverse it, as Game Freak has for once been rather secretive about what this game fully entails, both from a story and gameplay perspective. What gives us pause is that we can select a location on the world map to fast travel, which might defeat traveling long distances in the long run. Still, not knowing the full scope of the world is very much exciting. In the center of the Hisui region is Jubilife Village, our main base of operations, bustling place with the headquarters of the Galaxy Expedition Team. The team is a group of people with different walks of life and origin. As part of the Survey Corps, you're called upon to find out why Hisui is the way it is, and what can be done about aggressive Pokemon. While doing a fortnight of exploring, Jubilife is also where you can prepare for adventures to come. There's an item store, clothing options, and Pokemon exchange functions, all meant to give the player the same means to personalize the character as seen in Pokemon titles since 2013. Hit the Clothier to dress up, take your time for a makeover at the hairdresser, before hitting a photo shoot at the photography studio. That way, despite a number of other limitations due to the age this game is set in, you still have many of the modern customization features that we've got used to over the last 3 generations of Pokemon, along with other far more modern tools like the Arc Phone, which contains the game's interactive map. The difference from past Pokemon titles though is that Jubilife Village is not a location that there will be no incentive to return to, as this settlement is where we can change our look, get our next mission, and rest between tasks within our own lodgings, or even interact with the Pokemon that we have caught. It is truly a centralized setting, a settlement that we depart and arrive back to throughout much of the game. In addition to exploring the world itself, the way you interact with Pokemon in Arceus is relatively unique. The roaming flavor made popular in Pokemon Let's Go and Sword and Shield's wild area, Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra returns, making hunting for specific specimens less painstakingly hard. The way they respond have been heavily expanded upon. Monsters can ignore you, become aggressive, or be startled and move out of the way. When they are aggressive, they're impossible to catch, and you'll be forced into a Pokemon battle. There's far more of a hands-on approach, and far more expressive and dynamic Pokemon, which felt lacking at times in the previous mainline outings. The fact that Pokemon can attack you makes for a dynamic and immersion that is unparalleled in the entire franchise. Be alarmed though, get attacked enough, faint, and you will lose items and some progress for good measure. While the Pokemon battle mechanics mostly stay the same, there are some fun perks that are unique to Arceus. There's an action order which dictates when a side can attack. By switching between agile and strong style moves, you can alter the flow of battle and how these attacks behave during the course of the fight. Agile style lowers the power of moves, but they will hit faster. Strong style will make an attack very slow but incredibly powerful. Be aware of the following though. If Pokemon survives after you perform a strong style move, be ready to be blown back with multiple strikes. By constantly altering how you react, you can have an upper hand in battle. And this takes in many ways inspiration from recent Square Enix RPG titles, and that isn't exactly a bad thing in our eyes. In addition to the statuses mentioned previously, there are 2 more ways Pokemon can appear. Alpha Pokemon jump the gun with glowing red eyes and immediate aggressive behavior. They're also much larger, but no one is keeping track of them. Their AI seems souped up and are more willing to immediately strike back at any major mistakes made. Thus, a sound strategy and team is very much a requirement here. Furthermore, these creatures don't seem to hold back if you're not willing to bring your team out. They will chase the player and hurt them if necessary. Then there are the noble Pokemon. These creatures are frenzied and rampaged, and it is up to you to calm them down. Player, in a rather intriguing move, will have to throw bombs to slow down the Pokemon while avoiding its attacks with dodge rolls. When his guard is down, you strike them down with your own partner Pokemon to end the struggle. What intrigues us here is how different these battles are from the rest of the game. We hope they're used sparingly to spice up the game at moments. Since after all, they really feel like proper overworld boss battles found in games like Zelda Breath of the Wild and Monster Hunter Rise. Even so, despite taking inspiration here and there from the Zelda, Monster Hunter, Square Enix teams, we have in truth highlighted the most important elements of a Pokemon game here: traversing, structure, and how the monsters are handled. All of these elements make up what Pokémon Legends Arceus is going for. However, how it creates these aspects is very different from anything that the franchise has tried before. A true evolution of how we play Pokemon games. That is what drives the excitement for this new adventure. It isn't set in its ways and can build on this new foundation if Game Freak desires it. What makes us especially excited is that it can lead to changes in the main format, which has been largely the same over the years, where you just encounter Pokemon and run up to them or away from them to start or avoid a battle, or randomly pop into them and then battle before catching them. The difference here is that there are a few more steps, but also alternatives involved, as you first need to seek out the Pokemon, then do your best to not scare them away and sneak up to them, even throw out food and bait to keep them distracted and in an easy position before throwing your Pokeball. If you hit the Pokemon directly, then you might avoid battle and move on with a new Pokemon. But if you miss or the Pokemon is too strong, you'll be sent into a battle screen. As you can see, there is far more immersion attached to a Pokemon interaction experience on every level within this title, making the hunt so much more intense than it otherwise would be. Add to that you as a trainer can be attacked and need to dodge from said Pokemon, and we're getting very close to a realistic wildlife experience, where we can be knocked out by what we seek or try to avoid for the time being. This depth is further expanded by the fact that this game, as the earliest mainline title in the Pokemon series, obviously has no established gyms or league, as these would not be established for many decades in the Pokemon worlds. Instead, it is man against nature, and that is a brilliant perspective. Even when working with the Wardens serving special Pokemon, it is you against the wild. Speaking of, the Wardens are members of the 2 different Diamond and Pearl clans found in the game, both dedicated to serve the noble Pokemon of Hisui. With that being said, these clans, much like the historical warrior clans of Japan, are at odds with each other, and along with the Galaxy Team and the Ginkgo Trade Guild, they make up for an interesting ensemble of Hisui factions. No doubt we'll work closely with them throughout the game as we quell frenzied Pokemon, obtain rideable noble Pokemon, catch regular Pokemon, or when purchasing rare items from Ginter and Volo. Our experience in Hisui, the precursor of Sinnoh, is also enhanced by gameplay interactions with the ancestors of beloved characters from Diamond and Pearl, most notably Commander Kamado to Professor Rowan, Captain Selene and Team Galactic Cyrus, Volo with the Sinnoh champion Cynthia, and obviously our 2 playable characters, Akari and Ray, with Lucas and Dawn. Even Jubilife Village itself is the origin to the Great Jubilife City. Add to that starters from 3 widely different generations of Pokemon, numerous new and special Hisui variants of Pokemon, and much more that Game Freak didn't share prior to the release, and you can see why Legends Arceus, the first fully dual analog camera control Pokemon experience, is a true gameplay evolution for the entire franchise. An adventure on the path to Arceus which offers so much and seems to only have graphics dragging down what is otherwise a far more immersive, interactive, and expressive Pokemon title. A taste of things to come in the future of the franchise, games that might also have far better graphics than this big experiment title. For the Pokemon Company, this will all depend on the critical reception and how they want to build